My parents always believed in investments, just not in me. When I graduated high school at 17 with honors, I dreamed of becoming an architect. I pictured myself designing skyscrapers, signing blueprints, building something that would outlive me. But when I sat across from my parents at our worn-out dining table and told them I'd been accepted into one of the top architecture programs in the country, the first thing my father said was, "Good for you. We're not paying a dime." My mother didn't even look up from marinating chicken. "It's not a woman's career. You'll drop out or get married. Why waste money?" Meanwhile, my younger sister, Holly, got violin lessons, ballet lessons, summer camps, and even a month-long trip to Europe for cultural exposure. When I questioned the double standard, Dad's answer was always the same: "You're the responsible one. You'll figure it out." So I did. I worked 2 jobs. I crashed in a shared studio apartment infested with silverfish. I studied under street lamps when the power got cut off. I carried bricks at a construction site for extra pay. Poetic, really, considering I wanted to design buildings, not break my back hauling them. 4 years later, I graduated debt-free, exhausted, but fiercely proud. And then life took a turn. A senior architect noticed me at a job fair. He liked my portfolio, liked my grit even more. Within 3 years, I climbed to project manager. Within 5, I became the youngest partner the firm had ever seen, but I didn't tell my parents any of this. They assumed I was doing something in construction. They never asked too many questions, and I didn't offer answers. Distance was easier. Peaceful. Then last month, my mother called out of nowhere. "Honey," she chirped, like we were best friends. "Your sister is getting married. Isn't that wonderful?" I congratulated her politely, then she added, "We're planning a grand wedding. A ballroom. Designer decor. 25 tables. And we know you're doing well now, so your father and I expect you to contribute. Maybe the whole decor budget?" I almost laughed. The same parents who refused to spend a single dollar on my education now wanted me to bankroll my sister's luxury wedding. That was the moment I realized something. They thought I was still the girl sitting at the dining table begging for support. What they didn't know was that the daughter they once dismissed had built an empire, brick by brick, and she was no longer afraid to speak, and I was done staying silent. 2 days after that call, my parents invited me over to discuss numbers. I went. Out of curiosity, not obligation. Their living room looked the same. Dusty family portraits, fake silk flowers, a shelf full of participation trophies my sister never earned. Holly was there too, lounging on the couch like a princess waiting for her crown, finally. Mom beamed. "We're thinking you can cover the decor and catering. Maybe 60 or 70,000? You know, since you don't have a husband or kids yet and all." "Ah, yes. The classic logic, no husband equals unlimited money," Holly chimed in, twirling her hair. "I picked a white rose theme. And I want ice sculptures. Maybe swans? Also an LED dance floor." I stared at her. She didn't even say please, she just expected it, like I owed her, asked calmly, "And why do you assume I'll pay for all this?" Dad raised an eyebrow. "Because we supported you your whole life." "Supported?" I nearly choked. Mom waved her hand dismissively. "Don't be dramatic. We gave you food and a roof. And now you're doing well because you learned independence. You should be grateful. Grateful for neglect, for double standards, for being told I wasn't worth investing in." I said nothing. Not yet. Instead, I asked them to show me the full wedding plan. They eagerly pulled out a binder. It was thick. Filled with designer quotes, florist estimates, venue upgrades, even a fireworks segment. "Think of this as a family moment," Dad said proudly. "You'll be the one making it happen." I smiled politely, but inside, gears were turning. "Let me review everything," I told them. "I'll get back to you in 2 days." They sighed with relief, assuming I was already on board. Holly hugged me, a first in years. "Thank you, sis. I knew you wouldn't let us down." "Oh, sweetheart, you have no idea. When I left their house, I didn't drive home. I drove straight to the wedding venue listed in the binder, because if they wanted to involve me in this wedding, then I was going to be involved, completely, legally. Strategically, I scheduled a meeting with the event coordinator. I asked for copies of every contract my parents had already signed. And then I asked a question they never thought I would ask: "Has any payment been made yet?" The coordinator shook her head. "Not a single dollar." Perfect. The reality check was about to begin. 2 days later, I returned to my parents' house, but this time, I brought a folder of my own. They were all seated, Mom, Dad, and Holly, waiting like royalty expecting tribute. "So?" Mom asked eagerly. "How much will you contribute?" I set the folder on the table. I brought something important to discuss, I said. They leaned in. I opened the folder. Inside were the contracts from the venue, florist, decorator, caterer, all marked unpaid. Their smiles faltered. I met with every vendor, I said calmly. And I learned something interesting. You signed all these without paying a deposit. Which means the bookings are not confirmed. So before you expect me to spend a penny, we need to talk about something else. Dad stiffened. What are you trying to say? I took a breath, and finally spoke the truth. You refused to pay for my college. You told me I wasn't worth investing in. You made me work 2 jobs while Holly got every opportunity. And now, because I built a successful career without your support, you expect me to fund a luxury wedding? That's not going to happen. Mom's jaw dropped. You're exaggerating. We raised you, you raised me, I cut in, but you didn't believe in me. And now you only believe in my bank account. Holly folded her arms. So you're not paying anything? You're ruining my wedding. I looked her directly in the eye. No. Your entitlement is ruining your wedding. Silence, a heavy, uncomfortable. Then I placed one more document on the table, an offer from my architecture firm to redesign the venue's outdated ballroom, an offer worth 6 figures. Dad blinked. You work there? I don't work there, I said quietly. I'm a partner. Mom gasped. Holly's mouth hung open. You never told us, Dad whispered. You never asked. For the first time in my life, they looked at me not with dismissal, but with shock. Respect. Maybe even regret. And then I delivered the final blow, not out of cruelty, but out of truth. I'm willing to give Holly one thing, a simple wedding gift. Within reason. But I will not bankroll this extravagant circus. If you want a luxury wedding, you pay for it. If you can't, scale it down. Holly burst into tears and stormed upstairs. Mom glared at me. Dad rubbed his temples. But I felt free, lighter than I had in years. Walked out of that house knowing I had finally done what younger me never could. I stood up for myself. And the daughter they once dismissed had given them the reality check they never saw coming.